Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have a ton of updates to share about the various investigations into Donald Trump's crimes. First, the growing classified documents case. The biggest news is that the Justice Department confronted Trump's attorneys about additional classified documents they believe he still has in his possession. And FBI agents have reportedly been interviewing numerous witnesses about the possibility of documents hidden either at Trump Tower or Trump's Bedminster Golf Club in New Jersey. According to Rolling Stone, the agents also asked witnesses if Trump often transported classified documents between Mar-a-Lago and his other properties. And then on top of all of this disturbing news, it's now being reported that when pressed about returning documents in the latter part of 2021, Trump posited the idea of trading the documents in his possession for documents about the Russia investigation. So all of this is really revealing. First of all, whoever's sharing the information about the possibility of more documents at other Trump properties, it appears that they're trying to force the DOJ to take more aggressive action, or maybe even to charge him. So it could even be agents who are just tired, along with the rest of us, of watching and wondering why Trump has been given so much deference, so much preferential treatment. Any other American would be behind bars. This also tells us that the DOJ must absolutely believe that there are more documents, because they wouldn't confront Trump's attorneys unless they knew it. It's kind of like when you ask your kids a question, or an attorney asks a witness a question, you already know the answer, right? You just want to see if they're going to lie to you. Perhaps it's the empty folders, maybe they haven't been able to match those folders up with any of the other classified documents that they already retrieved. Who knows? But the other thing that it reveals is that Kash Patel and other Trump suckups are really full of shit. I mean, we knew this already, but this is proof positive, because Patel and others insinuated that the classified documents that were stolen by Trump had to do with the Russia investigation, and that he kept them to quote unquote, expose the deep state, right? And show how persecuted he is. So if Trump wanted to swap the classified documents for the Russia investigation documents, he clearly didn't have the Russia investigation information to begin with. And the New York Times article on this further illustrated that point, because in it they state, quote, Mr. Trump did not appear to know specifically what he thought the archives had, only that there were items he wanted. So he didn't know what NARA had about the Russia investigation. He clearly didn't have them. So they're full of it. That's not what he had. When are his supporters going to admit that there was no grand scheme to target Trump? He was the president for 4 freaking years. He had access to every single bit of information that the government has, that they've ever collected. He had access to all of it. If Trump hasn't released any damning documents yet, it's because none exist. Otherwise, why would he wait? What is he waiting for? Common sense, people. It's making a comeback. The other damning news that broke is that Bloomberg reporters filed a Freedom of Information request, a FOIA, and they obtained records for Trump's move from the General Services Administration. That's the government organization, government department who oversees the move of outgoing presidents. Trump and others tried to blame the GSA for accidentally packing the classified documents. But the GSA documents received by Bloomberg journalists, the FOIA documents, show that those boxes were already packed when the GSA movers arrived. In other classified document news, the special master, Judge Raymond Dearie, has released a new batch of documents to the DOJ Trump's team didn't assert executive or attorney-client privilege over these documents. There's 37, so those have been handed over to the government. Judge Deary also ordered the DOJ to return some documents to Trump. And these were documents that were apparently used by Judge Cannon to justify the appointment of the special master. So they consist of medical records, tax documents. But the thing is, according to an unredacted court filing, the government offered to return those items in August. So Cannon was clearly just looking for an excuse. In regard to Trump's coup plot and that investigation, the DC bar is considering sanctions and or disbarment for former DOJ attorney Jeffrey Clark. Clark, as you guys probably know, he's the attorney who is pushing for the release of that erroneous letter stating that the DOJ had found evidence of voting irregularities. He wanted to send that to various states, and he wanted to use it to urge the state officials to essentially decertify their election results. So I'll keep you posted on that and see what happens for him. Also, the judge overseeing the dispute between Arizona fake elector Kelly Ward and the January 6th Select Committee has ruled in the committee's favor again. As I mentioned last week, Ward was appealing the judge's decision, which allowed the release of her phone records to the committee. Ward asked the judge to put the subpoena on hold while she was appealing that decision, but the judge said no. So the committee can immediately enforce the subpoena that they had already issued to Ward's phone company, which was earlier this year. Meanwhile, down in Georgia, the district attorney filed documents to compel the testimony of numerous new witnesses. This includes Michael Flynn, Newt Gingrich, and Eric Hirschman. This is, of course, in regard to the grand jury investigation and to Trump's alleged attempt to overturn the results in that state. And for those who aren't familiar with these three, Flynn was briefly Trump's national security advisor. He's got a lot of baggage. Gingrich is the former Republican Speaker of the House, and Hirschman was a White House counsel advisor under the Trump administration. The Georgia DA has also put the investigation on hold until after the midterm election. So she's asking for these witnesses to testify in mid to late November. And you guys may recall this. I mentioned to you guys, Sidney Powell failed to show up for her scheduled appearance before the grand jury. She claimed there was a scheduling error. Well, what we're finding out is that appears to be a bunch of BS, because it's now being reported that Texas judges are preventing the Georgia district attorney from compelling testimony of Powell and other Texas residents. In addition to Powell, Army veteran Phil Waldron, he's this conspiracy theorist, wormed his way in to Trump and his inner circle, and also Republican lawyer Jackie Pick. They both failed to show for their scheduled grand jury appearances. And Pick has been advised that she's a target of that Georgia investigation. But the Court of Criminal Appeals in Texas, which contains all Republican judges, has ruled that the Georgia district attorney doesn't have legal standing to compel testimony of Texas residents. No other state has come to this conclusion. The judges in other states have all ruled that, yes, witnesses have to appear. And according to the New York Times, the reason they've done that is because all states have always abided by a 1930s act called the Uniform Act. And it provides a, quote, framework for one state to compel testimony from a witness residing in another. So according to legal experts, the Georgia district attorney may need to travel to Texas. She might have to go down there and depose these residents as a workaround. So, yeah, not a scheduling error. Anyway, guys, when I hear more, I will let you know. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.